York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani is facing heat from many on the right for requiring residents, not the presidents, the residents of the city to show multiple forms of identification to become an emergency snow shoveler.
Now, New York City is facing its second snowstorm in less than a month and its first blizzard since 2016. Mamdani declared a local state of emergency ahead of this big snow. Mamdani announced on Saturday that emergency snow shovelers would be welcome to join the efforts. Let's take a listen.
For those who want to do more to help your neighbors and earn some extra cash, you too can become an emergency snow shoveler. Just show up at your local sanitation garage between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. tomorrow with your paperwork, which is accessible online at nyc.gov/snow, and you can get started right away.
The New York City Sanitation Department website said in order to complete the registration, an applicant must provide 2 small photos, size 1 to 1.5 square inches, 2 original forms of ID plus copies, and their social security card.
Wow. Some on the right blasted Mamdani's ID rules, suggesting that the Democratic Socialist mayor is not consistent in his policies. Fox News host Jimmy Failure, a friend of mine, wrote on X, Zohran Mamdani requiring 2 forms of ID to be a voluntary shoveler for the blizzard. This is Jim Snow 2.0. Oh my God.
Haha.
Another New York City-based X account wrote Mamdani snow shoveler ID circus. Peak DSA hypocrisy, 2 photos, 2 IDs, social security card to earn $19 an hour, but 0 verification to vote?
Meanwhile, during a press conference on Saturday, Mamdani responded to the criticism of his emergency worker ID requirement rule. The mayor said federal law requires that employers get authorization and documentation to pay people for work. We are not allowed to just cut checks to individuals for their work. Anybody with half a brain understands that there is this 2 very distinct difference in 2 legal categories, right? So one is federal employment and for paid labor, okay? And the other one is regulation of access to a constitutional right. And so I don't understand why people at Fox are so confused about this notion. I mean, it's about employment law, not civic participation. And so what is the distinct difference? You don't think it should be easier
to become an emergency snow shoveler than it should be to vote?
You're being paid by the city, so you need to figure out how to fill forms out that require you to get paid. You're also considered a city employee, which is totally different than exercising your civic duty. Okay.
Stop using facts.
I'm telling you, you need
just feel in your gut the wrongness of this situation.
No, there's IRS reporting, there's Social Security contributions, there's W-9 work that all needs to go into you being an employee versus people fought for your right to be able to vote and that civic engagement.
I want to live
You're exercising a constitutional right.
If there's a snow emergency, you can just pick up a shovel and do it. But to vote, maybe you need to show your ID. That's how I would balance those 2 things.
No,
shoveling snow, we're not going to ask that many questions about it. Voting, we would like to know that you're an American citizen. I think that's the reasonable.
Yes, but the point and the examples that were brought up about people that are most disenfranchised by this are really clear and simple. So if you have a birth certificate and you happen to change your name, but you need 2 forms of ID, well, your birth certificate is not going to say your married name, even if you went through all the proper channels to change your name properly. Now you got to go through extra channels to get that. A passport sometimes is out of reach for some Americans that don't have $60 to go get a passport or the time to take off work to go do these things if you need a second form of ID. So it's just, yes, I know you can't relate, but in rural areas throughout the country, there are people that are really living check to check. I believe the census said about 11% of the people in America are living exact check to check. So they might not have $60 to spare, and then therefore you're asking them to go do something, take time or money out of their schedule that they really can't, because they have to put food on the table to go do something when they have.
Then I guess they're not going to vote.
No, it's not right. They need to vote. They need to vote because it's a civic duty as opposed to a paid opportunity that you're going after for your city. Then you need to get your stuff together and inconvenience yourself because there's money on the line. A civic duty is just like we are supposed to vote.
In most circumstances, liberal Democrats love paperwork and government forms, properly following proper protocols. Have we licensed that? You can't put up a lemonade stand without some Democrat saying, "Are you paying your employees minimum wage?" That kind of thing.
Why do they talk like that?
When it comes to vote, I don't know. When it comes to voting, then it's oh well, we could never infringe on somebody who doesn't have $10 rights to. I mean, this is silly. This is just absurd.
No, to you. That's what I'm saying. We can't relate in big cities. A lot of people.
Well, it's absurd to me, and it's absurd to 80% of people, including 80% of minority groups who are supposedly the ones negatively impacted by this, even though I don't see much evidence of that.
Okay, we'll park it there. I don't know. I'm not going to
That was our last segment of the day.
That was.
I was so worked up about this.
I know you wanted to go on and on about it, but I don't want to get yelled at by our director.
That does it for us on Rising Live. Look out for more exclusive YouTube content coming your way today, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Hills YouTube channel so that you never miss any content. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, now available anywhere you listen to podcasts. See you later.